I'm going to show you guys how to make the tofu egg flavoring that I do for like my tofu scramble or my tofu egg patties. And you can adjust these ratios for however much you need. So I'm starting out with 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, a half a teaspoon of paprika, a half a teaspoon of pepper. I'm using a variety that's just freshly cracked. A half a teaspoon of kala namak, which is black salt. And then last but not least, we're gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. And you'll want a receptacle to put this in. And then just shake it up. And voila, your eggy seasoning is done. I cut the fava bean tofu into little slabs like this. I would go for 4, but these actually sliced into 5. So I'm working with it. And in a lightly oiled pan, we're going to spread about a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of our seasoning on each one of these. We're going to rub it in, and then we'll put it in the pan, cook it on one side, rub onto the other side before it gets hot, before it gets too hot, obviously. And then once it's cooked on one side, we'll flip it to the other side and let it cook some more. Look at those babies. And you can really use these tofu patties however you would like. I have these vegan croissants that I got from Whole Foods, so I'm going to be putting a patty on each of these, and you can cut it to fit however you'd like. Sometimes if I'm doing like an English muffin, I'll use like a circle, like a English muffin, like ring, or like a biscuit cutter or something like that to cut it into a circle. Or you can just leave it whole, let it have a little bit of overhang. So I'm basically going to put those tofu eggs on here with some cheese, and you can have it just like that. Or if you want to take it a step farther, you could do a vegan bacon on top, a vegan sausage patty. I actually have some vegan Spam that I cooked up that I'm going to put on these. All right, and there is the assembling. So these are just the unmeat vegan Spam that I fried up in a pan with my fava bean tofu egg. You can use super firm tofu or the fava bean tofu or whatever your heart desires. I have 2 different kinds of cheese going on today. I had 2 pieces of the Follow Your Heart smoked Gouda left, so those are on those. And then I'm using a provolone on this one from Violife. And there it is. Easy peasy breakfast sandwiches. Now, for fava bean tofu, I would not recommend freezing it because the fava bean tofu does become very crumbly and disintegrating when you reheat it after you freeze it. So I would stick to just in the fridge and then warm it up when you're ready to eat it. Enjoy!